Before we dive in, can you share a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm a mother of two. My husband and I live in Rome, New York. We lost Andrew 9 years ago, and I started looking around. And Joe McQuillan, who wrote a book about his son Christopher, suggested that I talk to Andrew Anderson. And boy, did I jump right in. I'm retired. My husband's still working part time, and we have a very naughty puppy. So he's in his cage eating a bone so that he'll be quiet.
Can you describe the version of yourself before you lost your son, Andrew?
Gosh, yeah, I was very involved in everyday things. I did a lot of volunteering because I had retired that January before he passed. So I was very busy. I wanted to be around people. And then after we lost him, I sort of shut down. My daughter took his loss very hard. She's 4 years apart from him, younger. So I was kind of helping her out as best I could. Um, just there's a hole in my heart, and he's not here, but he is here because I talk to him whenever I talk to Andrew Anderson. Well, I talk to him every day, but just the things that he says, I know it's him. Yep.
Can you explain who Andrew is?
Who he is? Okay. He's a young gay man. Struggled with that a lot because we're Roman Catholic, and he never came out to us until he was 19. Everybody else knew, but I just didn't see it. He was always dating girls and just trying to fit in. And then he went to Florida and he found his place and he was happy, and he was working on a boat, one of those tour boats. And that's how we lost him. He jumped in the ocean to save another boy, and they both passed. He was a great kid. Everybody loved him. It was the second biggest funeral in the city of Rome when we lost him. Yeah, but he was wonderful.
After you lost him and met Andrew Anderson, what made you feel drawn to start working with him?
The first time I got on, because we had gone to another psychic before I knew of Andrew, and she kept saying to the person that she was talking to before, "Do you know an Andrew?" And so he was sticking his nose in where he shouldn't because he was so excited we were coming. So the first time I talked to Andrew, I said, "I have a son named Drew. He may be pestering you." And he goes, "Oh my God, I was just going to tell you that," because he's saying, "My mother's waiting. My mother's waiting." So I knew there was a connection there immediately. Yeah. And it's been wonderful. I've talked to him often, and I enjoy every time I've gotten my daughter involved, my husband involved. My husband, not so much. He is very psychic, he's been told, but he's afraid of it. So he doesn't really get into it that much, but I live for it. So, and he's just been so wonderful. And Andrew is quite a force to be reckoned with.
And during your first few readings with him, was there a moment where you felt, wow, this is something deeper than a typical reading goes?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Andrew will come to me and he starts at my toes and I get a chill all the way up. So I know that he's hugging me at that particular point. Well, all that morning I had the chills and I'm going, "Okay, buddy, we're going to get this done." When I talk to Andrew about him, he says things only the way my Andrew would say them. He brought up a lot of things that there's no possibility he would know. And it was just wonderful that he was talking about him and how he's growing in heaven and how he's trying to run the place, which is a typical thing that Drew would be wanting to do. But I knew that we were connected the minute I talked to him, and I sing his praises often.
Can you describe a specific instant where Andrew brought you chills, um, recalling anything during a reading?
And there's so many. Just him knowing things about our life now. I would feel that chill when Andrew would say, "Well, Drew has balloons," and I said, "Well, my daughter's just engaged," and then automatically I got the chills. So anything to do with Shelby, that's my daughter. When we're talking, I get that hug from my Andrew.
Has Andrew Anderson ever brought up anything that you haven't told anyone or maybe admitted to yourself yet?
I'm not afraid to die anymore. I was always afraid. Oh no, what's going to happen? I know what's going to happen, and I think that moment I kind of understood that I got a lot of work to do here, but I'm not afraid anymore because my boy will be there and he'll bring me home. So I think that was the moment that I realized I really been harboring that I used to be afraid and not anymore.
And you mentioned that your Andrew has been present in a lot of your sessions with Andrew Anderson. Was there any detail that he's ever mentioned about him that you thought, how could he possibly know that?
Oh boy. I wrote him. You know what? I should have read all of the times that I talked to Andrew because I wrote everything down. I was with Mary, who is started out a friend of Andrew's in Florida, and then we became very close. And he brought in her husband, who had passed, Bob, and just talked to Mary. I think it was more for Mary um, that she got to talk to her husband and how he apologized for things that had gone particularly wrong. And then she's going, "Oh my God, how does he know this?" I said, "Because Andrew and Bob are right there, honey." So I think that was the moment, like you had said, that there's just no way he would know these things.
While working with Andrew, did he help you reconnect with a part of yourself that you didn't realize you lost?
Yes, definitely. Um, the emptiness of those first few years, because I didn't really know Andrew Anderson until I'd say a couple of years, and just reconnecting with my Andrew and the things that he says and the things that he's doing, just uh, I lost that part of me, and it showed, with my daughter and my husband, and so I've regained that sense of Andrew being with me always, Drew being with me always, that I didn't have before.
And while working with Andrew Anderson, has he helped you make any decisions that has impacted your life?
Um, I'm trying to get more involved in what's going on. I've had knee surgery, so that's kind of left me at the house limping around. But there's things that I need to do in the world that I have not done, and it's been 9 years. So I want to get more involved in volunteering. I mean, that was one of the things that I did before Drew, and he was so proud of me because I was working with school kids. So I wanted get back into that, and Andrew was pushing me on the other side to say, "Come on, Mom, you gotta get going."
While working with Andrew Anderson, how has he helped you with your relationships with others or even with your relationship with yourself?
I think more the relationship with myself. Like I said, the Shelby and my husband are kind of on the outskirts. It's made me more uh, aware of what they're going through, um, and it's helped me decide that it's time to get off my butt and do some things that are important to me and important that would be important to my Andrew. And there's still more I have to learn. There's so much more I have to learn. So I won't be giving up his phone number too soon.
Do you think that your husband and Shelby would say that they've seen a change in you while working with Andrew Anderson?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Even though they're not as interested as I am, they can tell when I tell them about the readings and remind them that Andrew's watching us, and um, how my Andrew will play with Shelby's curls. She has very curly hair, and she's noticed that there's a pulling, but she didn't realize what it was until I told her it was her brother, you know, picking on her. So they have seen a difference, I think.
Before we move on to our closing questions, is there any other story or experience with Andrew Anderson's accuracy about your Andrew that you'd like to share?
Yes, with the balloons, my Shelby was engaged. He said Andrew didn't really like the way her fiance asked her to marry him. He expected candles and flowers and on the knee. And Zach, who is Shelby's fiance, had put the ring around their dog's collar, and it was outside. And he said he just wasn't impressed with that. And I said, I know, because he's very flamboyant, and he would have preferred that it would happen a different way, but that's okay. It was funny, and we enjoyed the laugh. But I knew that Andrew would not be happy with with the way she was asked to marry Zach.
And if you could describe your transformation since meeting with Andrew Anderson in one sentence, what would that be?
It brought my soul more open. That he brought me a peace that I didn't have before talking to him. Even though I went to other psychics, he brought me peace so that I know that my Drew is looking down on us and taking care of us.
If someone um, if someone is scared or apprehensive about working with Andrew Anderson, what would you want them to know about your experience with him to make them more comfortable?
That he'll calm them down. He is a very strong, genuine person. And anyone that talks to him for 5 minutes, not even 5 minutes, knows that. So, and I've had other friends want to talk with him, and that it was the same way. He has a very calming effect on everything.
What's one thing you gained from working with Andrew Anderson that you didn't expect to?
To laugh. I mean, I know my son is very silly, but I laugh almost all the way through our talks, and I didn't expect that because you go into it thinking, oh, I'm going to talk to my son who's passed, but to laugh and I love that part of it because I like to laugh, and Andrew always made me laugh, my Andrew.
If you could speak to the version of yourself before you began working with Andrew Anderson, what would you want them to know?
That not to be afraid and not to disengage from people because it doesn't do you or anybody else any good. I have a lot of good friends who have stuck by me, and I should have called him sooner.
Would you recommend working with Andrew Anderson to everyone?
Absolutely, I do. I do. I talk to about him all the time. Yeah, he's one of my besties.
And before we close off the interview, is there anything else that you want to mention that maybe we didn't get to today?
No, just that I feel so at peace when I'm talking with Andrew Anderson. And he's, like I said, he puts you right at ease, and he just knows because he's talking to my son. And that is a great joy right now.